But it is almost St. Patrick's Day, so I will start seeing a lot more weird things. My advice to you, if you're not a St. Patrick's Day person, hide from Santa. There's A, nowhere to park, and B, nowhere to park, and C, nowhere to park. Right.
Maybe freedom for You have your phone, right?
Yeah, I do.
Alright. This is our first time.
Okay. Have y'all been here before?
First time.
So feel free throughout any point of the ride to ask questions if you need it. Or if you just need me to stop so you can take a quick picture or something. Well, otherwise, this is Pepper. Pepper is a 23-year-old Percheron draft. He's from Amish country. Being my very big child right now because he doesn't want to listen. Put it on the other side of me. How about that? Pepper has been doing this for 14 years in Savannah. For the most part, yeah. But because y'all are my second to last sport, he's going to try to test me and see how well I'm paying attention. And when I say test, they will try to go HOME. And I don't think we want to all take a lovely long ride back to the park.
How far is that from here?
So from where I picked y'all up, it's about a 20-25 minute-ish walk
Okay.
for these guys, so it's not too bad. What we do, it's basically considered by the city officials considered a workout. It's kind of like what we do for workouts, where we have the walk out from the barn, which would be your warm up, getting you ready, getting the muscles loose and ready for the work, and then the walk around the city. Doing the walk around the city, which are the tours, which is the workout, and then the walk back to the barn, which is always a fun thing to do because he tries to full on trot. That is supposed to be the cool down.
So does he remember where he's going, or are you?
My arm is literally just sitting on my lap right now.
So
I'm
just-
doing absolutely nothing right now.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Actually, I never knew that's how it worked.
The only thing that I am doing is I am making sure that he's not going to hit a car and making sure that he stops at stop signs because like I said, y'all are his second to last. They tend to not want to listen. So I actually do have to do all the stopping and making him stop at stop signs at that rate. Alright, so are we all just getting here or we've been here a couple of days, a couple of hours?
Been here for a couple of days.
Couple days?
Couple days.
Yesterday. And have we done any of the other touristy things? So my first recommendation to you is if you're into like geodes and fossils and things like that, walk on this side of River Street. We have the JW Marriott, and it's a beautiful like museum-ish type thing. They've got giant geodes, fossils, and a giant dinosaur underneath a glass floor. And they have a giant metal dinosaur, completely reconstructed out of metal.
You can have props.
So this first square we are moseying through at Pepper Speed is Johnson Square. Johnson Square is one of the 24 squares laid out here in the city of Savannah when Oglethorpe came up the river. With it being square number one, though, this is where everybody lived during the time of Oglethorpe, which is 1733. Everybody would live right here in this one square. Where the two fountains are that you see throughout the square, they are where the bake oven used to be. And then on the north side of the square, when we come back through a little bit later, you're going to see the water well, well, you'll see the square, the block that marked where the water well was, but you'll also see the sundial, which is in front of the square on this side. So basically your little block party or your communal area, whichever one you want to consider it. And all of the little houses that you would find on this square made out of recycled ship wood. The older the ship, the quicker it got recycled. See, when they said it was going to be 70 degrees today, I didn't believe it. Because the weatherman likes to lie to us. He said it wasn't supposed to rain the other day, and it rained late that night, so. So a lot of the buildings down here, you'll notice has a certain type of window, and then some of them have the commercial windows. The ones that look like they are very wavy, or if they have a reflection, the reflection is very distorted, those are original glass. Those are original to the building. The ones that are like this, which are the commercials, you typically see every day. How you're going to tell the difference is if it's really wavy, murky, or your reflection is just not there. That wavy glass is that type of glass that you see in doctor's office that are about like this thick. It's that type of glass. Ones that are very distorted, and your reflection is very distorted. That's another form of wavy glass, but it's also original to the building. Now, the only time that your reflection is going to be distorted in the commercial windows, if you had one too many margaritas. You're moseying through, we're getting ready to mosey through Reynolds Square. Reynolds Square houses the old King House, which you can see in the back corner over here. King House was constructed in 1771, and it took 18 years to reconstruct the structure because of the fact that we didn't have enough bricks to finish the entire house. It took 18 years to finish it. It's a restaurant today, and it's a 3-month wait just to get a reservation. This is the Lucas Theater, built in 1921, and it has 1,200 seats inside. The front half is very deceiving, so you actually have to look down one of the downside alleyways just to see how big the theater really is. But the Lucas Theater had fallen into the strand and it's been very nobody was planning to come see a movie in it anymore. So it ended up on the demolition list. But at the same time, during the 80s, we were also filming the movie Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. So what happened is Clint Eastwood and many of the other actors, actresses in the movie, pulled all of their money together and restored the Lucas Theater back to what you see today. Today is owned by the Savannah College of Art and Design for their film festivals. Any other time that other than when they're not doing the film festivals, like at Christmas time, they're doing the different Christmas movies. So each week of Christmas, different Christmas movies. So during their Christmas time, this building in particular, though, the SCAD building, is served by her, but it used to be a ladies' department store. The outside kind of reminds me of Sears. And then straight across the street from it, you've got Leopold's Ice Cream. Leopold's Ice Cream is the best shop here in Savannah. Serving ice cream since 1919. Every flavor in Leopold was invented right here in the city. So if you have a sweet tooth, they have a hot fudge brownie sundae in there with your name on it. So we have 22 of these beautiful squares around the city today. We originally had 24, and just to get married in any of the 22 squares you see around the city today, it is a 2-year wait list. Each of the squares do have their own personal landscaping team to keep them all looking beautiful. Provided by the city, of course. Now, occasionally you will see a few like volunteers out here cleaning up, helping the city out, taking care of the square. That's every now and then. Straight across the square, building with the green shutters, that is the old school, built in 1819 by an English architect by the name of William J. He was only 19 years old when he built that house. The house is 100% symmetrical with doors next to the house. That's absolutely nothing. Shutters on the inside that match the ones on the outside. And an opening arm staircase in the back of the house that matches the one on the front. Just a little OCD, not a lot, you know? But the house is also the first house in the city of Savannah with running water. There are gravity cisterns in the basement with barrels on the outside that collect all of the rainwater. And it just circulates through the house. The sandy colored building on the right hand side of the carriage, this is the old Mariners Hospital. Your first 2 floors are for the everyday patient and sailors. And if you were either one of those and you passed away, your body was taken out behind the hospital in the alleyway and you were buried in the alleyway, and that's where you would stay. The very last floor was for yellow fever patients, and if a yellow fever patient was to pass away here, there was a tunnel that led from the hospital all the way up to Colonial Park. At the back of Colonial Park Cemetery, you would actually find 2 giant mass graves, and those mass graves are for the yellow fever epidemic. Those mass graves hold 900 bodies each. We like pineapples. Did you know the Spanish moss is in the same plant family as the pineapple? It is all over the place you see throughout the city of Savannah. It does typically like to grow in a really warm, humid climate, but because we stay significantly hot during the summertime, it actually thrives pretty well here. Come on, Pat. Over here on the right hand side, the big bell, that is Big Duke. Big Duke is the fire bell here in Savannah. Back when we were running off of the bucket brigade, everybody had buckets lined up outside the house to accumulate rainwater. If there's a fire that broke out on any of the squares, your fastest runner would run out here to the fire bell, ring the bell to represent the square, and then everybody would grab their buckets from outside their house and run to that square to put out the fire. I think that's how we managed to burn ourselves down a handful of times without General Sherman's help. Just because I don't think everybody back then was a very fast runner. I guess we got tired of doing that after a while because we put the very first fire department right next door, which was started in 1898. Back wall of the cemetery, the bodies left right where they were. Come on, Pat. You gotta move up. And more houses in the cemetery because this was the biggest fenced-in plot of land we had during the Civil War. So the men would take the bodies and the coffins out of all of the crypts you see throughout the cemetery, burn them so the men would stay warm, and then the men slept inside the empty crypt. Alright, Doc, behind. Sorry. You're fine. I tried your trick, it doesn't work.
Giddy up, Papa.
He's not going to move any faster even with the horse in front. Sometimes he does, especially if we're on our way back home. He'll do it. You gotta let the car go by first, Pep.
Run him over.
Sometimes he'll try it, like if he's actually feeling himself today, like or he's in a really good mood, he'll try to. But... Have y'all walked through the cemetery yet?
A little bit.
Did you notice that some of the tombstones are blank?
Mm-hmm.
General Sherman's men.
Yeah.
Some of the dates on the tombstones are also changed as well. Just because there were a bunch of young men who didn't have mom there to be like, don't do this, don't do that. Unfortunately, though, because they were doing what they were doing to our cemetery, the ladies of Savannah did have to take matters into their own hands. They were taking a plant known as oleander, cutting it up and brewing it into a tea and adding sugar to it, and then serving it to General Sherman's men in little increments, killing them off little by little. And what would happen once ingested, it would make you severely sick at first to the point where nobody could figure out what was wrong with you, and then it would kill you. During the times of the Japanese, what they would do, the Japanese would actually take that oleander plant, burn it, and fan the flames, the smoke in the direction of their enemy. And the smoke is toxic as well. And once they inhaled it, it shut your lungs down instantly, leaving you no time to suffocate. Oh boy. So what do we notice about the balconies right up here? True. How about no door?
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Your windows with the door. And the reason behind it being narrow, it was because it's a way to get from one window to the next without anybody in the house. Which is pretty cool, but the reason why we didn't use doors on the balconies is because England had attached the doors to hinges. So we would make very long windows just so you can get out onto your balcony. England to figure out what we were up to and then put a tax on windows. We tried. You see that green plant behind the statue over there? That is the oleander plant. You want to know a fun fact? That's on an all-girls school campus. And it's only in 2 locations in the entire city. That one being Rome. Why they don't remove it, I don't know. But they do test for it in toxologies today. It is very pretty. Well, that one in particular has very hot pinkish flowers, whereas the other one has a very soft pink. Which I didn't know they came in different shades. I know our crepe myrtles did. They also come in like a purple. This is the Cathedral for St. John the Baptist while we are sitting here. The Cathedral for St. John the Baptist runs hand in hand with St. Vincent's Academy for Girls, and both are an active church church and school day. And it takes up one full block. So from this intersection all the way down to the next. Pay attention. Step up. Now the cathedral is very pretty on the inside. If you are invited to come over here and you want to look around inside, you are more than welcome to, as long as Mass is not in session. Unless you're Catholic, then they encourage you to come and attend one of their Mass or their Masses. But it is also the only church in the entire city that has a hand-rung bell. So if you hear a bell ringing every half hour and then one every hour, it's this church. Now pictures of the inside of this church, if you were to look at pictures of it, it does absolutely no justice. You actually have to go and look for yourself. And just like the squares have a wait list, whereas the squares are a 2-year wait list, this one's a 3-year. Lafayette Square and Lafayette Hotel are both named after the Marquis de Lafayette. He was a French general who gave us French allies during the American Revolutionary War. So as a thank you, we will get everybody up at the early hours of the morning, prepared a whole feast and celebration just for him. Only for him to decide that he's going to be 3 hours late to the ceremony. The fountain that you see in the center of Lafayette Square is actually from Wormsville Plantation. Come on, bud. But this one is actually known as the Wedding Fountain. We do have another one that is exactly like this one over in Columbia Square, and that one's called the Engagement Fountain. And then if you've ever been what? If you've ever been out to Forsyth Park, that giant fountain out there is absolutely beautiful. They're all getting ready to get their waters turned green for St. Patrick's Day. Even the barges are coming in to turn the river green. This beautiful house right here is the Angelo home. This is where Julie Glenn spent all of her adult days married to Angelo's son William McKay, or Angelo Jr. He preferred Angelo Jr. He didn't really like him. But this is also where she started the Girl Scouts. Carriage house in the back of the Angelo home is where Julie Glenn started the Girl Scouts March 12th of 1912. So every year when it gets close to the Girl Scout birthday, you see Girl Scouts from all over the United States coming right here to see where it all started. You are able to take tours of the Angelo home and the Julie Glenn Girl Scout house. Now the Angelo home is actually a cross between Grecian and Italian villa. They do still have all of their original furniture from when the family originally lived there and all of their original windows. Come on, buddy. Raceway of Savannah. This is the original race street. They recently just got their speed zone at the beginning of last year. This is Macon Street. Macon Street is the perfect example of the role that the Historical Association has for the city. If you're going to build in the historic district, it does have to fit the time period of most of the buildings down here. The time period for most of the buildings are the 1800s. The buildings that are on the left-hand side, all of these are built in the 1980s until like 1800s. The ones that are on the right-hand side, all of these are actual 1800s. Pretty cool thing like that. Yeah. all just really falling apart. Like if you've ever seen old abandoned buildings that are falling apart, that's the way they were when they were first built, or so that's what they try to do with some of the ones that started falling apart here. Is they made them look as if they were first built, and they have to go back and get all the original floor plans for them and everything for some of the buildings down here. This is a lot of hunting, but I mean, hey, it's worth it because look, you get so many beautiful buildings that you would never think of being built ever. This is Madison Square. Madison Square is named after our fourth president, James Madison. And it's not that he spent a significant amount of time here, just like most presidents did. That's it. It's just the fact that when he died, he had died the year prior of the square's dedication. So what they did is they figured, let's dedicate the square to the fallen president. Stop. Don't do that. You're going to break it right over. You've got one dog, like I'm a bark. The other one's like, I don't know what to do. It's a really big dog, is that what you said? Say, I'm not a baby dog. What? Say I'm nosy, that's for sure. Don't do that. Drink it. So the gentleman that's in the center of this square is Sergeant Jasper. Sergeant Jasper participated in the Battle of 1779, which was the siege of Savannah at the time, which was one of the bloodiest battles of the American Revolutionary War. During that time, the Brits had taken over our ports and were refusing to give them back to us. So we had Haitian soldiers waiting across the river in case we needed them. And then we had our own French-American forces hanging out back here. Nearly Sergeant Jasper is buried underneath this monument. He's also buried with that colonial flag that you see him holding at the monument. Just because when the battle decided to show its face over here, the original flag bearer had been shot and killed. Once the flag bearer is taken down, if you pick that flag back up, you are instantly the new target. And he knew that, and he definitely knew that that was going to be the responsibility that he took on once he picked up that flag. So he picked up the flag, held it up high, letting everybody know, hey, we're still pushing on this battle, we're not giving up. At the end of the battle, when they found him and they were rallying their dead, they found him with the tree, leaning on a tree with 3 bullet shots inside of him, and the flag laying against the tree. So it never hit the ground. He got buried with the sword that you see him holding in the monument and the flag. Now the sword is actually plunged into a bullet wound that he obtained during the battle, trying to keep the flag up. It was to stop the bleeding to the butt, and the sword is in the wound itself. I don't know how you can fight with a sword sticking out of your side, but he managed to do it. Hold on, Cup. Pumpkin orange building right here on the corner is the Tour we have. It is ranked number 3 in the entire state of Georgia as most haunted, and it's ranked number 5 in the entire United States. they do offer you ghost tours at night. If ghosts aren't your thing, during the day they do offer you the historic tours, and the historic tours go more into detail of the architectural style and the family, whereas the ghost tours go more into detail of the murders and things that's happened in the house. Right next door to the building with the gold pillars, that is the old George Tucson Architects. Then many years later, when Henry Ford was coming out with Model Ts, it was converted into showrooms for the cars. Nobody informed Mr. Henry Ford that you do have to sterilize the Spanish moss before you use it. Because he ended up having to do a very big recall on the first set of cars that he sent out because he stuffed his seats with Spanish moss.
Telephone booth. You got a telephone booth.
Anybody like chocolate? So this place right here, Adam's Chocolate Shop, is all handmade truffles.
Ooh.
And they'll make different truffles for different times of the year too. Have we all seen the movie Forrest Gump?
Mm-hmm.
So this is Chippewa Square. Chippewa Square is commonly known as Forrest Gump Square. This is where we filmed all of the bus scenes in Forrest Gump. We blocked off every entrance of the square, so from on the stop sign all the way down to the next, and each of the 3 side entrances you see on both sides of the square. And rerouted all of the traffic, that way the bus doors come the correct way for Forrest to get on the bus. Unfortunately, I do have to break your heart though. The bench is no longer out here. And let me explain why. It is in the visitor center because people were trying to either A, break pieces of the bench off, or B, steal it entirely. So we did have to take it away. And then we tried to put a plaque out here to show you where it was, and then people were trying to unscrew the plaque from the post. If I had an answer for that, I would give it to you, but because it is no longer out here, I will show you where we placed Mr. Tom Hanks' box of chocolates. If you remember the scene where Jenny is working in the diner and she sees Forrest running on the TV, that diner is also down here. It's called Debbie's. It's on Bay. It's on Bay Street. And then if you remember the giant bridge, they used 2 different bridges for those 2 different scenes. One of those scenes being our Talmadge Bridge. The other one being the Beaufort Bridge. See, we share some things with South Carolina. We let y'all have the house scene and the bubblegum shrimp boat scene. Yeah, see? Charleston might be our older sister, but we're not entirely. We share things with you. We're right here behind the Chippewa Square sign is where we placed Tom Hanks' box of chocolates. And then when we come around the corner, the building right here on the right-hand side of the carriage, the red brick building, that is the Chatham County Board of Education. That is where we filmed all of the school scenes to the movie Forrest Gump. If you go back and watch the scene where he's sitting on the top step waiting for his mother to come out of the principal's office, you would see the Savannah Georgia seals right above Forrest's head. And then straight across the street, the very tall church steeple, that is the Independent Presbyterian Church. That is the tallest steeple in the entire city from the ground all the way to the very top. Stands 227 feet high. It is 13 feet taller than the cathedral itself. And that is where they did the opening scene to the movie Forrest Gump, where the feather was floating down by the steeple. Easy. Now the church itself is actually the fourth version of itself. Just because the first and third got taken out in a fire, or excuse me, in a hurricane. The second one got taken out in a fire because, you know, we're smart and we decided it was a brilliant idea to not only build the entire building itself out of wood, but also store explosive objects inside. The 18th Savannah. Whoa. Building right here on the right hand side of the carriage. This is the Julie Gordon Low birthplace. This is where Julie Gordon Low was born Halloween night of 1860. Her father was a Confederate general, and her mother had two brothers that were Union generals. Talk about a house divided. Now Julie Gordon Low would every year on her birthday, if it already wasn't weird enough, you want to kind of get or ghost goblins and witches, as you call them in Savannah. From Wolfgang Bakery all the way up to the Savannah Memories Gift Shop is the cemetery for Wright Square. This row of buildings, same concept as Colonial Park Cemetery. Relocated tombstones, left the bodies right where they were. They are still there. Where any remains from that is still under there. They did, when they were trying to relocate the tombstones, they were trying to push them down into the ground. That didn't work in their favor because when it would rain, the tombstones would come right back up. Pride Square is known as Courthouse Square, housing two courthouses, both the federal and the county. The county is this ugly baby food color building in front of us. If you have this color in your house, I'm sorry, no offense meant. Straight across the square with the building, the big white beautiful building across the square is the federal courthouse building made out of all marble. Every last little bit came straight from a little bit north of Strand Mountain. So if you get as close as you possibly can to the federal courthouse building without disrupting any of this construction, of course, you can see three different type marble ores. Those marble ores show you different types of marble being produced here in the state of Florida. If you've ever seen the movie Midnight in the Garden, you can see that is also why we did the courthouse, all of the courthouses. Now in the center of the square where the monument is standing today, used to be where the gallows would be built. Once the person was pronounced dead in the gallows, they would actually cut them down and then hang them for 3 days on display in any of the trees you see throughout the square. Anybody like Italian food? Bella Napoli Bistro is one of the best places to do some Italian food down here. The locksmith building that was right next door made a set of keys for Harry Houdini. I'm hoping they made many sets of keys for Harry Houdini. We all know how on the crazy side he was. And then if you've been inside our CVS, you unknowingly went to jail. Vegetarian open room chat house. So once inside, you are exposed to every element that Mother Nature had to throw. But not only that, you are also able to see them build the gallows in the center of the square from inside the jailhouse. Needless to say, if you found yourself on that square and you were not watching the hanging, you were probably in trouble. Alright, that's the construction area. How do you feel about it? Come on. Huh? So this is Broughton Street. Broughton Street is known as Get in Trouble with Your Credit Card Street. And it's because you find all your name brand stores on the street, like Michael Kors, H&M, things like that. But not only do you find most of your name brand stores on the street, you also find more banks. Just so you can go get in more trouble with your credit card. In other words, danger, danger. Questions so far? We are coming back into Johnson Square. Johnson Square houses Nathaniel Green's monument. Nathaniel Green was a revolutionary war hero, one of our many of them. Somebody go. Thank you. I was waiting on somebody to go.
Yeah, I hear ya.
Now Nathaniel Green, even though he was a revolutionary war hero, he did fight right alongside Mr. George Washington, became right-hand man and trusted best friend to him. So at the end of the war, he was given a plantation known as Mulberry Grove. On that plantation, he was given rice crops. He decided it was probably a brilliant idea to go out and tend to his rice crops, not only in the middle of June, but in a 3-piece full suit. Not the very best wardrobe choice. He did end up suffering from a heat stroke, but in our defense, we didn't know he was having a heat stroke. We just thought he had way too much blood in his system, just because of how red his face was. So what we did is we stuck leeches to him and then stuck him right back into a hotbed. He died from the treatment, not from the heat stroke. So at the time of his dedication, when we were dedicating his monument, they moved him from Colonial Park Cemetery to underneath his monument. Many of our fallen heroes down here that have monuments, they are underneath it. The only one that is not underneath it is Obador. He policy. Probably go back to being every Tuesday and Thursday like it originally was. Step up. We are rounding back. Any final questions, comments, concerns? Things that you may be wanting me to touch base a little bit more on? Feel free to ask. Last little few things for you. If you're gonna go down to River Street, please take the elevator. Do not take the stairs of death. They are designed to make you trip and fall on purpose.
Did you hear what she just said?
Got an elevator.
Step right above it and trip and fall right back down. If you're going to go to any of these restaurants throughout the city, please, if you have an allergy, please make sure you make your waitress. How much were you eating?
15. I think he's ready for his day to be done.
He's ready to be done. Aw,
Thank you.
sweet boy. I'm hungry.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.